Hi everybody, my name is Mark Lerner. I'm the Director of Marketing here at Oktopost. I want to thank you for joining us today for this Oktopost webinar, How B2B Marketing Agencies Can Dominate Social Media. So what we're going to discuss today is why your agency needs social media, how to overcome skepticism by potential clients about social media, some key pain points that you might experience, as well as the KPIs that really matter, and then I'll talk a little bit about using Oktopost to manage client social media and some best practices as well. All right, so the evolution of content marketing, we've seen an evolution. So it started with this traditional content marketing. Actually, one of the first types of content marketing was soap operas. Soap operas were put on by the soap companies. They put these dramas on in the middle of the day when they knew that their target audience would be watching, which was at the time housewives. And they did product placement. And that was one of the first and most ingenious types of content marketing. And then we have, print advertising, brochures, branded magazines. And then we moved into the digital age, and these are the types of content that most of us are familiar with. We have case studies, ebooks, white papers, blog posts, webinars. Those are the standard digital types of content. And then we've moved into social content marketing. So what social content marketing is it says that a Facebook post, a LinkedIn group post, a tweet, a Google Plus page, that's actually content. The text within those posts is content. So a 140 character tweet is actually just as much content as an ebook or a white paper. And the same rules apply to regular content marketing as they do to social content marketing, and it goes for the social posts themselves as well as when you're distributing content across social media and the type of social posting you do when you distribute that content. Now, there is some skepticism starting about the fact of the demographics of social media. Everyone assumes that Facebook is full of teenagers, and the truth is that the fastest growing demographic on Facebook is actually 55 plus. Between 2011 and 2014, there was an 80% increase. And you can see that there was a big decrease in teenagers, and what that means is that an older demographic, a more business-focused demographic, the decision makers are now on Facebook and other social networks where they weren't before, and you need to get in front of them. So the millions of teens have left Facebook for cooler networks like Snapchat and Instagram and things like that, and the fastest growing demographic are the older people. And then we also have platforms like LinkedIn, which is exclusively for business, which is a total game changer in terms of social media, and Twitter, which was originally this microblog site, has become this content distribution tool that's really unbeatable. So the truth is 87% of B2B marketers are currently using social media to distribute content. So if you have a client or potential client who's in the 13% that's not, then you need to make it very clear that they need to be getting on that. And even if they're in the 87% already, chances are a lot of people who are using social media to distribute content are not doing it. They're not putting a lot of effort into it. They're just kind of sharing without really thinking about the type of posts that they're sharing when they're sharing their content, where they're posting it, how often. They're just not thinking about it. They're not putting a lot of effort into it. And maybe they don't have the resources. Maybe that's why they need a marketing agency like yours to take over and do the social media for them. So some of the skepticism, really the big skepticism that we found for social media from B2B companies when you're discussing potentially doing social media for them is, they think it's B2C. It's only for boosting awareness. What does a retweet really mean? How do you quantify that? What a B2B company really is concerned about is leads and how many leads you've generated for them. So when you sit down with them and do an overview of the previous month, they're not going to really care about how many retweets you got. They're only concerned with one thing, and that's lead generation. So until recently, there was this perceived inability to prove ROI, and that's changed. That's where Oktopost comes in. Oktopost actually allows you to see how many leads you generated, who the leads were, which posts they clicked on, and that's the kind of information that you can provide to a client that they were never able to get before, and let them know that what social is actually really beneficial. Okay, so the buyer's journey. Your clients might not know it, but they need to be active in social media because it's where their customers are. 57% of the purchase decisions are actually made prior to any phone call or any sort of conversation. And 67% of the overall buyer journey actually happens digitally, which means that your client's customers are actually searching the web, searching social media, looking up companies, making a decision based on what they see. Are they thought leaders? Are they distributing content that's interesting to me, which makes me respect them? So a client who's doesn't have a social presence is really leaving money on the table. So here's the problem. This is the crux of it. That the number one goal cited by B2B content marketers for their content was lead generation, but the number one metric they cited was actually web traffic. And what this means is that there's really this disconnect. There's this perceived inability to measure the leads that were generated from social media. And so the way that social media is done successfully for B2B companies is you manage the social posting. So you schedule out posts in advance across Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, Google+. You publish those across the social web over a period of time. But then you have to measure, and you have to measure what matters, and that's conversions. And with that, you're able to actually see and prove ROI to your client. And so conversions are really the easiest and most effective way to measure ROI and prove the benefit of social media to your client. Now, in terms of where to be doing social media for your clients, when we're talking about B2B, the number one place is LinkedIn by far. Over 80% of all leads that were converted from social media happened on LinkedIn. This was based on user data that we found in our system. A very, very distant second was Twitter, but still a very important platform. But over 80% of leads that converted were from LinkedIn. And this is a very important point. When you're running social media for a client, it's really important, especially in B2B, that you're able to be active in discussion groups on their behalf. And what that means is that you need to be able to manage personal profiles. Maybe some clients are hesitant, but what's really important to see here is that 86%, more than 86% of all conversions from LinkedIn actually happened in discussion groups. So discussion groups are really the most powerful thing that a B2B marketer has in terms of content distribution and lead generation. And it's something that your clients need to be active in, and they need to allow you to post there because using social profiles of employees as evangelists is an extremely powerful tool, and that's really a point you really need to make very known. Now, some of the best practices for posting in LinkedIn discussion groups for a client are, we remember the rules of content marketing in general, and those are, you don't promote. That's not overt promotion. You're not a salesman. What you're trying to do is provide content that provides value to the reader who's, your potential customer, and you want them to view you as a thought leader, and when it comes time to make that purchasing decision, you'll be at the top of their mind. And so what you do in these discussion groups is that you do social posting that provides value. You distribute valuable content. So the content you're going to distribute through a group has to be relevant to the group. It has to be really good content. It can't just be, fluff. It has to be non-promotional. And then when you do the social posting, so the post itself in which you're sharing the content through, it has to be good content. And one of the best things that you can do is ask questions. So ask a question in your post that's related, in your social post that's related to the blog post you're sharing. What people are going to want to do is they're going to want to answer that because everyone wants to show off that they know the answer to things. And when they get engaged in your conversation here, they're actually more likely to click through, read the content, and eventually convert. So this is a really great way to establish the profiles of your clients as top contributors in discussion groups. Now, a few things to look out for. One is SWAM. So about a year and a half ago, LinkedIn instituted a policy that was later named Site-Wide Automatic Moderation. And what that meant was that if a profile gets blocked or deleted from any LinkedIn discussion group, all the other discussion groups that profile is a member of, all the posts that they make to those discussion groups will now automatically be put in a queue for moderation, meaning that once they've gotten blocked or deleted from one group, whenever they try to add a post to another discussion group, their post won't go right away. It'll sit in a queue for moderation, and if there's no moderator in that group, then their post won't see the light of day. Now, this was a very big deal when it happened because LinkedIn didn't really tell anyone about it. It seems that in the last few months they've changed this. Instead of being swammed forever, it's only for about a week or two. But the way to avoid this is not to be spammy and read the rules. Each group has its own set of rules and information, and you may read the rules and it says don't share content here, so you don't share content there. Now, Twitter is this amazing platform because it's open. It allows you to break down doors that were never able to previously. So what we're looking at here is we actually wrote a blog post about thought leaders in our industry. And what we did was when we shared that blog post across Twitter, we tagged those thought leaders. And what happened was we got engagement with this person who's the VP of marketing at SAP. And this really speaks to how amazing social media is, and the benefit it can bring your client is that you can get in front of a thought leader that would never have been able to happen before. And so this is a great strategy when you're sharing, when you're tweeting on Twitter. What you should have done when you started with this client is find out about their industry, map out the thought leaders in their industry, and start tagging them in your tweets and see if you can get engaged with them. Also follow them and see which hashtags they're using. If you see that thought leaders in the specific industry of your client are all using similar hashtags, start using those hashtags too, because most likely the client's target market is following those hashtags. And you also want to be active on Twitter. If you're not tweeting 5 to 10 times a day, then you might as well not be might as well not be on Twitter at all. And that might sound like a lot, but one of the benefits that Oktopost provides you is this ability to curate content and put it in a queue. So we have a content tab that basically looks at the type of things that you've shared previously, sees what's getting the most clicks and the most conversions, suggests it to you, and allows you to actually share that from the platform. So it gives you the option. You're fed a whole bunch of content. You can pick and choose which ones you want to share. You can create your own unique tweet. You can schedule it out, or you can put it in a queue. And so what you can do is you come in the beginning of the day to each client. You take 15, 20 tweets, you throw it in the queue, and it'll go out over the course of the day. And that way you'll establish that Twitter account is very active, even though you're not going all day tweeting one by one, because you don't have time to do that. So it automates the process and allows you to work with more and more clients with less resources. So in terms of measurement, it's all about leads. And what Oktopost allows you to do for your client is actually show you how many leads they converted, who the leads are, which post they clicked on, in which campaign it was, in which discussion group the post was made. And all of this information you can bring to the client and show them exactly which leads you brought, which posts are getting the most conversions, which campaign was the most effective. And this is really hard data. This isn't fluff. And this is the kind of thing that a client wants to see in order to prove the benefit of actually paying for social media. So what I'm going to do now is go through the overall agency plan and some of the benefits and features of it. So the Oktopost marketing agency solution is taking our platform, which is the best B2B social media marketing and most robust B2B social media marketing platform out there, and allowing you to leverage it for clients' social media. So it allows you to manage and measure all of your clients' social media in one simple platform. And one of the biggest benefits is that you can access all your client accounts with a single login. So you'll log into your Oktopost dashboard, what's called the parent account, which will be your agency's account, and you'll have a pull-down bar. So with a single login, you'll be able to go to that pull-down bar and go in and out of each client account, set up all the social posting, pull reports, and not have to log out and go back into a different one. So it keeps them all together, but you're separate so that each client is separate and things don't get mixed up. All right, so in terms of managing clients, the platform allows you to add clients directly from the platform. So it's actually a self-service platform. So every time you add a new client, you would go into your dashboard, add a new client, choose which plan works best for that client, and add it to your account, and they'll show up in the pull-down bar. You'll be able to start adding profiles. We have a consolidated billing, which basically you'll be billed once a month, and you'll have unique invoices for each client, and that'll automatically populate into your account, into your parent account. You'll be able to see all of that. And again, you'll have that single login, so you don't have to log in and out. And you can actually give your client access to their instance if you want, and they'll be able to see how things are going. Okay, so reporting, when we're talking about KPIs and proving the benefit of social media, obviously reporting is really one of the biggest things that's important. And with Oktopost, we have different levels of reporting. One is on the campaign level. So one of the benefits of Oktopost is that all social posting is done through a campaign. So if you have a new piece of, or if your client has a new piece of content, what you would do is you'd open a campaign with an Oktopost, and all of the social posts in that campaign would be promoting that specific piece of content. And what this allows you to do is segment your posts and see what's working and what's not, if there's an upcoming event that they're promoting. So you'd create a campaign with an Oktopost where all the social posts in that campaign would be promoting the event. And then when you pull the report, you can see how effective the social promotion of that event has been, and you can actually pull that report and bring it to the client and say, this is how well our promotion of your event went. And then we have global level reporting, which allows you, let's say you have a monthly meeting with the client to see everything that's happened in the last month. You can print that report and show them, campaign by campaign, which specific posts overall were getting the most clicks and the most conversions, which LinkedIn discussion group was the most effective, which social profile in their account was the most effective, and that's the kind of reporting that you can bring to them, and you can take it down to a very granular level. And then we have cross-client reporting. So internally, if you want to, take a look at how each client is functioning, how each client account is working, and how well the social media managers for one client are working, and how well you can actually compare client reports internally and see which one, what's happening in each client. And then we have workflow management. And what this allows you to do is create unique roles and permissions for each user in your account. So let's say that you have 15 client accounts, and you have three managers on your team that are managing those 15 client accounts, and each one of them has 5 clients. So you can actually set roles and permissions where each social media manager will only have access to the client accounts that they're managing. So when they log in and they have the pull down bar, they'll only see their clients. You can actually give specific roles to each user and say, okay, I only want them to be able to create drafts, but they can't publish. An admin needs to come in and publish. You can hide certain tabs from them. They won't be able to see the billing. If you don't want them to have access to the profiles or the reporting, you can actually set that as well. And then Oktopost in general has these integrations that are really powerful, one being Google Analytics, which will allow your client to see the social traffic that's coming into their website, not only which social network it was, but which social campaign it was, which LinkedIn discussion group it was. And then we have a GoToWebinar integration, which allows you to take the registration form for GoToWebinar and capture that lead information and put it in the system. With Salesforce, we take that lead source data about where the lead came from, which post they clicked on, etc., and we bring it into Salesforce. With Bitly, every URL that goes out from Oktopost automatically gets shortened into a unique short link. If you have a vanity link or you just want to use a regular Bitly, you can hook up the Bitly integration, and those links will be shortened for Bitly. With Acton, Marketo, and Eloqua, those are marketing automation platforms that allow you to take the lead source data and put it in the lead in those platforms, and you'll actually be able to continue to follow the lead. So if they continue to click, you can use that to segment lists and increase lead scores. And then our Feedly integration, Feedly is an RSS feed, and what you can do is you can set that RSS feed. It'll bring the content into the content tab along with the recommended content, and you can actually share it directly from there. So that is the presentation. I want to thank everybody for attending. If you have any other questions, you can email us at contact@oktopost.com. You can find us on Twitter. You can go to www.oktopost.com/agencies to find out more. We also have a 30-day free trial. So I want to thank everybody for taking the time to be with us today.